The market has mixed results as it closes slightly lower. Are there cracks in the foundation or is it buy the dip? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay, guys, so in last week's video, we talked about the fact that after the NVIDIA catalyst and the big move up, we were looking for some selling into that move, and that's exactly what we saw as the market popped a little bit higher on Friday before closing lower on Friday and Monday, down about 1% off of those highs. Now, the question is, are there cracks in the foundation, or is it simply just buy the dip? I'll get into that in just 1 second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500 and the Nasdaq. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, the market is starting to move down, so let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are in the daily futures chart for the S&P 500. Some of you have asked for a bigger picture update, so I wanted to give you that, and here we are. So off of the lows back in October of 22, we've really had an ugly overlapping pattern to the upside and what has turned out to be a really big ending diagonal for this wave 5 of this super cycle, wave 3. So inside of that wave 5 of this wave 3, okay, we have our wave 1 up, our wave 2 down, our wave 3, 4, and we're in wave 5 right now, and we're headed toward our target area. So let's look at a little bit about that. Now, if you've taken my advanced class because you're a member in my site, you know that diagonals target the 1618 to 1764 extension of waves 1 and 2, puts us at the 5240 to 5372 area overall. These targets have been on here for a while. We just haven't done an update for a while, but this is the area we've been looking for this target since they broke out off of the October 23 lows in this direct move up. And what you would expect here is what you're seeing now that we're kind of in the mix, and that is when you're coming into the end of a super cycle 3, you might expect to see a blow off top here. And that's kind of what we're getting as they hit the lows and hit the gas and never look back. And now they're at the top of the trend line. So if you've taken the advanced class, you also know that very common in diagonals, wave 4 will come under the trend line. And that's called a throw under. Elliot called this a throw under. And very often what happens when you get a throw under is wave 5 will have a throw over, meaning it will go higher than the trend line, and we're seeing that already as it's poked just above this trend line that we're seeing to the upside. So everything playing out as you would expect in a diagonal, and that's what we're looking at. And you really can't, I mean, you can start to talk about diagonals. If you watch my big pick video from October of 22, where I talked about us being in a low here and coming up, we were looking for an ABC up into 43, 4400. I did say there was an alternate path to all-time highs, but it was likely going to be a diagonal, and I really don't count on a giant 5-wave diagonal playing out very often. So it happened to play out this time, and we are in the end of it, so we're very confident in the structure here that we're looking at. And so in the bigger picture, we've gotten what we've expected: a throw under for wave 4, a diagonal structure in the trend lines, a throw over for wave 5, a target area coming up quickly, and weakening signs in the market. We're seeing them all over the place now. And so at any point here, now above this wave 3 high, we should be in a cautious mode overall in what we're looking for in the market. We shouldn't be in a super uber bullish mode here. And the reason for that is the overall structure. You're in a wave 5, you're in a weakening structure, you're in a weakening indicator cycle that we have that we look at all the time. I talk about it in my room. We go over it. I have videos on it in the beginner course. These are all things that are showing topping action. Now, that doesn't mean we've hit our top. In fact, I would expect one more smaller pullback and one more push higher. We'll talk about that when we drill in. But it is very possible we've hit our top. I just think we'll have one more to get up to our 5250 area or 5300 area to hit the target. So I don't think we're quite done yet. But I do think a pullback here is likely, and then one more push, but a small pullback like toward the Fed lows that we've been talking about for a while. So we'll drill in and talk about that in a minute. But overall, this is what we're looking at. We're trying to complete this wave 5 up toward the 5250 to 5372 zone. Now, if we've made a top, let's say last Friday was the top, and we started to move down, the first indication would be a break of 4722. This is the 1.0. It's where the wave 3 hit almost exactly. It actually pushed just above it. Another sign of a diagonal, a weak wave 3 that doesn't get up to its target. So This is the level that we'd be watching. There's support here. There's support here. There's support from the wave 3. They came back and tested that level right here, and then they would come back and test it again, and your trend line is there as well. It'll be a little above that by the time they get back to it, but that would be a huge level for them to test. If 47.22 breaks, then it's much more likely that we are in a move down and a bigger correction overall. So this is the big picture, looking for a smaller pullback, which we'll talk about when we drill in, and then a push higher into these target areas to complete the overall cycle. Below 47.22 would be a very strong warning to the bulls. So let's drill into the 1 hour chart. Okay, so here we are on the 1 hour chart, and essentially we are looking at a couple of different things. So we talked about this being an expanded B wave. I would want the top to basically be in at this point for this B wave and look for a bigger pullback in 4. And so the basic overall question is, have we completed wave 4 here with a truncated wave 4? Because this is just not going to qualify as a wave 1. It's just too ugly and not enough waves. So do we have a truncated wave 4, or a wave C of 4, which are very rare, not a usual thing that we come across? Or do we have an expanded B wave where wave 4 still needs one more low to come back and test either these lows here from CPI around 49.40 or the Fed lows down around 48.86. We'll have to see when we get down here if it's going to be an expanded or running flat if we get down there. So that's the big question. Is this wave 4 in right here? So is this wave 4, or do they need one more low and wave 4 will be over here, and then we'll make the push back up toward our 5,200 area overall for this 5th wave of 5 overall. So that will be kind of the tell. What we're looking for now is a break of 50.48. If they break that, then the bears can push this on down and test this low. But above that, we're looking at this as a wave 4 and then a wave 5 higher that can push up into these areas. Maybe even as this being wave, so 4 of 3, all of 3 into 51.56, and then wave 4, and then wave 5 up to hit our ultimate goal around 52.50 or so, up there around the 1618, 1764 extensions that we looked at on the big picture. So that's kind of where we're at. Are the bulls going to be able to hold this support area, 50.48 to 50.66? If they do, we would expect them to push to around 51.50 next. Then one more pullback to test wherever they make the low here. And then one more push up into that 52.50 plus area to conclude wave 5. And then we would look for a much bigger pullback at that time. So right now, support is the key, 50.66 to 50.48. If that breaks, we're looking down here more likely to the 4,900, 48.50 area for wave 4, and then back up in wave 5 from there. And again, a break of this area, and we'll start to look towards 4,700 next, and that 47.22 area is a very big area for the bulls to hold. Over on the Nasdaq daily chart, very similar to the ES with one big exception. The Nasdaq, after its leading diagonal start, has a wave 2, 3, 4, and 5 that are all pretty impulsive in nature. So it's a much easier wave setup to track. You'll remember I said if you were bearish here, the Nasdaq was a problem because it was a pretty clear ABC. It did not break the pivot. It held where it needed to hold, and then it pushed higher, and we broke out to new all-time highs from here. And so the Nasdaq is looking to complete its 5th wave up and around the 18,544 region, the 2618, because it has extended. We do have a new high here. Everything is in place for the Nasdaq. So at any point that they turn down and break support, it would be a warning to the bulls that the top is in and we're looking at a bigger correction. So on this move up, okay, the question is the same on the Nasdaq and the ES. We'll drill in. Is this microwave 4 in, or do we need one more low and then up in 5? We'll drill into those levels and how that works exactly. But anything that breaks down below this high right here, which is 16,337, that should be your first warning. There's a lot of support here. If you look here, 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 and here, there's support for that move. Anything that breaks below that, which should be the first warning, and then a breakdown below this low here at 16,000 would be a very big warning to the bulls that we have topped and we are looking at a bigger correction overall. So we'll need to keep an eye on those levels to the downside, but big picture remains the same, looking to complete up around the 18,550 area for this bigger wave 5. On the hourly chart, okay, so for the hourly chart, same type of question. Was this an expanded B wave up, or do we have more to go higher where we can hit the 18,350 to 18,500 zone? If they're going to go directly higher, this would be an A, B, C heading into the 17,839 to 17,750 area. They would need to hold this pivot area as support. If they can hold that, we would look for our next move higher up over the 18,300 area, one more pullback, and then one more high into that 18,540 area we talked about on the big picture. 18,580, 540. It's all, there's a lot of confluence in that area for the move up on the Nasdaq. So big question now is, can the Nasdaq hold upper support? If they cannot hold upper support and we drop, we would look to test the lows here at the 17,250 to 378 area. Test that and then look for another high back up into that 18,300 to 18,500 area to complete wave 5. And then we would look for a pullback from that area. Now, if they can't hold down here, then we would start to look lower toward that 16,000 region. If they break that, then we are looking at a much bigger correction overall and possibly even a bigger top in that super cycle 3. So Nasdaq has its support defined 17,839 to 17,751. As long as we're above that, they are bullish back up to about 18,300 plus. Then we would look for one more pullback toward that 18,500 area. Guys, if you love the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link. It'll take you right over to our webpage. Once you're there, check out our membership plans area. We have 2 incredible monthly plans, and they both come with a 7-day free trial. And this is because I want you to get in there. I want you to make sure you love it, become part of our trading team, interact with PT and I. Make sure it's for you and it's what you want to be doing before you ever spend a penny. You can cancel anytime, and you literally have nothing to lose by checking it out. We also have our training courses. Our Advanced Elliott Wave course is just about complete, and it has everything you want to know about the complex portions of the market. Anybody who's a current member of my group gets access to this for free. Just by being a member, you get all these videos where I go through the diagonals, the double and triple threes, the flats, the triangles, trading with Elliott Wave, and all that kind of stuff. So an incredible course. You can see on the screen, people are really loving it. It helps you with the complex patterns we're dealing with like right now so that you can understand what the market is doing. And as I said, if you are a member, you get this for free. We also have our starter course, the Elliott Wave for Beginners online course. If you're unfamiliar with Elliott Wave, this course is helping real traders make real money by finally understanding the market in a way that makes sense. It can be so confusing when good news makes the market go down and bad news makes the market go up. Elliott knew that the news cycles were noise and that key levels mattered, and he knew what happened when those key levels held and what happened when they broke. This is a huge advantage over the rest of the market, as you don't have to worry about the news cycles. You have to worry about support and resistance, which is really what matters. In order to find those, you need to understand how Elliott works, and that's why we have this course. It is 25 videos in 3 parts. Your introduction, where we go through the mindset, the emotion, the KISS method, and why it works, the chart setup and tools, all of the tools you need to use along with Elliott Wave Theory so that you can get the measurements and do what you need to do. We go through how to use them and why we use them. And the Elliott Wave for Beginners area, where I go through each of the waves, how they work, how to measure them, how to find the key levels, what happens when they break and what happens when they hold, so that you can understand the market in a way that makes sense. The really cool thing, guys, is if you don't want to pay for the course directly, the $67, as I said earlier, it is included for free in both monthly rooms. In my first room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get all of my real-time market updates, all of my buy and sell alerts, all of your Elliott Wave questions answered, a midday video where we go over exactly where we are in the counts and what to expect, as well as answer your questions on there. We have about a 30-minute video every day. We go through market psychology, trading, what's going on in the market. It's an incredible value, just that video. We also have our training material that you just saw. That comes with the room as well. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing and day trade. So we trade quite often in my room. And if you're looking for futures trading, advanced trading, income trading, and individual stocks, you need to check out PT's Throne Room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as futures trading, individual stocks, income trading, and PT's reduced risk binary method that absolutely crushes the market. He gets you in at a cheap price and gets you big multiples on your money, and it's how he structures the trade that's so unique. It's something you really have to see to understand, and that's another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where you put $4,000 into an account trading mini ES futures, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we would love to have you in these rooms so we can all make money together. All right, key takeaways for today. On the ES, we're looking for a pullback. First support area 50.48 to 50.66. If they can hold that, we would look for another push higher towards 51.56 from there. Then one more pullback and another push. If they break through that, then we would look for a retest of the 49.40 to 48.60 area. Over on the Nasdaq, same type of setup, looking for them to hold 17,839 down to 17,751. If they can hold that, we'd look for another push higher towards 18,300. However, if they cannot hold that area, we would look for a retest of that 17,250 area. Guys, that is your market update for today. I will talk to you tomorrow.